Ladies and gentlemen, we're live. Your boy, Doug O'Mac, Frank Manzo, joining us here the night after Summerslam. Frank, I don't think our people or anyone's seen you on video since April.
Since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And Doug, we are here for Wham Bam Summerslam.
That's right.
Good old days. Exactly. Good old days. By the way, I loved the art that you put up of us. Madison Square Garden, SummerSlam 1998. I was lucky enough to be there in person. This is a cool story. So we're
doing the watch along.
I worked that summer as a camp counselor for a camp that I went to for about 7 years before that. And this kid was a big wrestling fan in my camp group. And he told me that his dad worked for Cablevision, which is a huge cable company up here in the Northeast, which back then owned about 60 to 70% of Madison Square Garden. And instead of getting cash for my tip at the end of the summer, the father of the kid invited me to go with them to SummerSlam 1998 on them. Best tip ever. Okay, let me tell you. That was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to be watching along with our patrons, patreon.com/living the gimmick. We are doing our watch along this month. Everyone voted. It's not even for Patreon. It's not just for Patreons, for everyone, because it's one of the big fours. But everyone had a chance to vote with over 200 votes. We had the SummerSlam 98 Highway to Hell show come in number one. So everyone had a chance to vote with over 200 via a randomizer wheel that we had to do to get the tiebreaker. But we are now here. We are now ready to do the watch along this week. This coming Thursday, we'll be doing that watch along live. All patrons will have video access to that watch along live. Everyone else will get the audio probably on Friday, the day after we do it. But we're going to do it on Thursday afternoon. Yeah, these a-hole patrons in the chat talking about. Yeah, you all know that I constantly whip your asses on Tuesday nights, and that's why you're saying all this, because you have no idea what you're talking about. But we are going to talk about what we just saw, SummerSlam. We're also going to talk about NXT Takeover 30, but first and foremost, Wrestle Reaction, living the gimmick, back together, doing this thing. John is off, hanging with Sean Ross Sapp right now with Fightful, doing their podcast. Got to go back and watch that later on. I'm sure that'll be fantastic.
Traitorous bastard.
Fantastic content. Yes, what a dick. We're man down. JT was supposed to be here, but JT is trying to move, and so he has worked himself.
God bless that kid. I would not want to be him right now. I mean, It's going to work out in the end, and he's got a beautiful home coming his way. But this is a beautiful
baby
part.
boy, and he's just got tons of things going on. Your child just celebrated her second birthday, so you. Alex, you can't call me delusional. You haven't been there in weeks, so I don't want to hear anything about it.
Yeah,
you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm like a real mid-30s now. I have a 2-year-old. I'm a assistant vice president at a major financial corporation, and I have slicked hair.
Your hair's the longest it's been in forever. Yeah,
in 12 years, literally 12. And I rolled with it. I was like, all right, so there's no barbers. I'm in the middle of the hot zone of the United States when it comes to COVID-19, and let's just see what I could do with my hair for the first time in forever. And it took a little playing with, but here we are. I think I'm going to, keep it until like the spring comes and then shave it off for the summer and go back. And I'll kind of just go back and forth,
Yeah. And we got Manzo's beautifully combed over hair and the gold chain and everything about Frank Manzo is here. So why don't we get started talking about SummerSlam? We'll make our way to what we just finished seeing. Thank God it was over at 10:07. I'm loving quarantine era WWE pay-per-views.
Oh, the time is excellent. Yes.
The max they are is 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Overall, how's your feeling tonight, Doug, about what we saw?
I enjoyed the show.
So did I.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't enjoy watching SmackDown. I say it on our podcast every week. That show's the worst of the worst shows when they like all of these shows that WWE produces. It's the worst. Okay, Raw this past week. Raw is boring and very formulaic. Like it's formulaic. It's very formula driven content. It's very similar each week. I thought 2 weeks ago, patron Nate and I did our podcast 2 weeks ago. Talked about the Raw show. I actually thought that was the best Raw show in months, if not the entire year.
I was
this past week, back to being the same old boring shtick. But the week before that, it's fantastic.
SmackDown is like a steady mediocre all the time now, with like maybe one great match that you're like, oh wow, that was really good, and then it's just surrounded by mediocre. And Raw on any given week could be like a really great show that you're like, oh wow, they still have it. And then, hours. Like you said, they follow it up with, oh my God, like, can this end already? Like, this is just terrible. It's not going anywhere. It's not developing anybody. The matches have bad finishes. Like, and you know what's bad, Doug, is like they just have a snowball effect of just bad all rolling together to make a bigger snowball. Like when the show is bad, it's like the next match booking finish sucks, and just the next promo sucks, and you're not furthering the feud after that. It's just they just suck. It is off the rails for the whole show. You can tell every time. Yeah, and they had a challenge. They knew they were going to be putting we have a pay-per-view this coming Sunday. Like, so yeah, everybody's getting this reaction show. Because it's you and I, and it's one of the big four, and we're hopping in. We're trying to do big four reviews with everybody. Next week, not only will everybody get a watch along from us, but we're also, if you're a patron, you get a prediction show for Payback, and then of course you get a reaction show right after Payback with John and myself. It's worth the $5. And then the next week's AEW, so it's going to be the same way that week too. Right. So there's tons of content coming up, and what we're watching. We knew that they had a task at hand of trying to make this a decent show with intrigue enough to get you to come back and watch a week later, not leave you going, okay, so next week I know it's just going to be rematches, and what's the point? Because I honestly went into this show thinking that was what they were going to do, and so my expectations of this show were way down. And I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. I didn't expect a lot, so everything overachieved my expectations. You thought it was going to be a predecessor show for what they had to for Payback. I mean, it just felt like, okay, you're doing a pay-per-view the very next week, which is so weird. I mean, is there any story or news about how we ended up at this? Like the only reason was because they were wanting to do something special, coming straight out of SummerSlam and doing something big the next week. Because guess what? The next week is an AEW pay-per-view. So I understand. Okay. Maybe they think fans will have watched 2 weekends worth of wrestling. Why would we want to watch a third? Maybe they want to tire people out. I don't know what the exact impact they think is going to will happen. But all I know is I have to do a bunch of prediction shows and reaction shows to these things. So I was thinking, all right, whatever. For me, like the card looks okay on paper. Let's see where it goes. Well, the kickoff match was the United States Championship match with Apollo Crews and MVP. I felt like it started off pretty good, and then it just went downhill and was just a standard Monday Night Raw match with a couple of botches here and there. I mean, I'd give this thing a 2.5 star rating. I can't comment. Middle of the road. The only thing I missed tonight, I was getting a little something to eat before the main show started. I figured perfect time. Yeah. Like you said, we've seen it a bunch of times before. Not taking away from either one of them, because to tell you the truth, I really enjoyed both of them. Me and you were at Apollo's NXT debut, and we both, we know this guy is super talented. They have made him extremely cheesy at times. Oh, yeah. And I am actually very positive about how they've handled him this time, to tell you the truth. Like, it's not the greatest thing, but he is going out there, working with good people, having good matches, getting time for his matches. And, I enjoyed watching him versus Andrade. I enjoyed watching anything with the new stable, the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business, excuse me. So, yeah, in case you don't know, guys, I'm very casual when it comes to stuff that is just okay. Or the shows lately, I will check out real quick when Raw sucks. I'll tell you that straight out. But to tell you the truth, I loved their closing segment that week on Raw Underground when they took over. I thought that was the best thing on Raw Underground so far, because it made them look good. But then they weren't even on the next week. So when it comes to Apollo Crews right now, I like watching the guy work, and they're putting good people with him. So that is okay. But at the same time, I knew I had to make some dinner tonight before SummerSlam started. I've seen the match a million times, like you have also, and I didn't need to see it, and I'm sure it was good, but it is what it is. Yeah, I agree with Patrick Go. Shout out, saying that Cruz needs a mouthpiece. With
the fact that they're bringing up Keith Lee, which was announced during SummerSlam, immediately after the Drew McIntyre Randy Orton match promo video package, Keith Lee coming to Raw tomorrow night. So Keith Lee is coming to Raw. With me,
I love it.
With me being a giant Keith Lee fan and knowing that he needs to be an Impact player from the get-go, something they did not do with Matt Riddle on SmackDown. He came in, he got his little win, and then he's been feuding with Baron Corbin. Notice that they weren't on the show tonight.
Right.
What I would think is have him feud with the Hurt Business immediately. And I would have him going after Cruz. We've already seen the slight heel turn, Cruz cheating to win, to keep his United States Championship. I think you're probably going to see Keith Lee come in and go after Cruz in the United States Championship, which would lead to Cruz shifting gears and joining up with the Hurt Business and becoming
which would be fine, honestly.
And having MVP be his mouthpiece. I mean, it's better. That was the original plan.
Yeah.
6 months ago was for MVP to be the mouthpiece for, like, after WrestleMania, to be the mouthpiece. So 5 months ago.
And let's hope that they do right by Keith Lee, because, you know, that's a up and coming star. That's a guy who's got major potential.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in the US title picture. I'd put him right into the WWE title picture, like in the main event, like not give him a title match immediately with Drew, but I would have him, you know, if Bobby Lashley is arguing to be a number one contender, I would have him feuding with Bobby Lashley to get the spot before Bobby.
Something, you know what I mean? On the sidelines pertaining to the world title.
Yes.
But not actually in the world
title.
Letting
people know this guy's not a mid-carder. He's a main eventer.
And there's unfinished business with Orton and Drew. We'll get to that.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yes. So, you know, I'm interested to see where they go. We'll move on. Anybody that saw it, nothing to talk about. We've talked way too much about it. We start off exactly how I threw out for John on the podcast, which was we should start this show with Bayley versus Asuka. Sasha helps Bayley win and retain the SmackDown Championship, which should move us into a match later on where Asuka faces Sasha. Bayley has the chance to help, but she doesn't. Sasha loses, and the feud's really starting to teeter on. And then next week, they'll lose the tag team titles as well. Then there's only one title left between the two girls, and Sasha will be coming after the SmackDown title. They set it up exactly how we threw it out there. The first match, Bayley and Asuka, these girls worked their asses off and had an excellent match. I mean, this is a 3.5-star match, in my opinion. I thought they worked their ass off a lot better than average. They did whatever they could to tell that story well, including Asuka making sure she butt bumped the hell out of Sasha Banks to throw her off the apron, and then got the win. The way they executed Bayley rolled her up to get the win. The execution was really well done in this match. The finish and everything in this match was really well done.
This match was the women's match of the night. No question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's my second favorite match of the night. And I'll get to the other one later. I did not know you guys laid it out on the show, but we talked about it before everything came on the air.
Yeah.
You laid it out perfect.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that they're planting this deep of seeds for Bayley and Sasha Banks breakup this early.
Well, I think they're going to go
out of nowhere on Friday. They literally started an interview with, "Are you guys breaking up?" Listen, I watch all the WWE main shows. I don't get to NXT. I watch Raw. I watch SmackDown. I make sure I can at least keep up with the main storylines. That is so out of nowhere compared to what was going on. And like John and I talked about, they hot shotted a lot of things on SmackDown. Really picked up the pace of a couple of things that they're planning to do. Obviously, we know this is all going towards Sasha and Bayley breaking up, but that could be 6 months from now. It could be on the road to WrestleMania 37. It doesn't have to be now. This was between Friday with that getting thrown in like it was, and then tonight with what happened in those two matches, we're getting deep into this. We're getting to like the very the step before the last step of Shawn kicking Diesel in the face 3 times before he turned on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we're there. So great match. We'll talk about the other one later. I just love all the work that these 3 girls are doing.
Right yeah, absolutely. They're the best part of TV.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, they're the best part of TV right now. And outside of Randy Orton's promos, I think they're the best parts of TV. This one delivered. The next one delivered. It was what we're talking about. We laid it out on the podcast as well, saying for weeks that this was the plan for WrestleMania this year. It was supposed to be Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania this year. Right. And 2 years ago, it was supposed to be Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania, and things happened. So again, they got it back to it, and then the gimmick was working so well together that you didn't want it to end immediately. And yes, I said I wanted to go all the way to WrestleMania next year. I thought that they had the legs because they've been so good on television, but it looks like they want to do something at Hell in a Cell. I think they want a female Hell in a Cell match, one that's going to have the stakes to have a Hell in a Cell match. And remember, that's the October pay-per-view. You burn it here, you build it September, you get the Hell in a Cell match in October. I think that's what they're probably going for. Maybe a Survivor Series match as well. I don't know. But it looks like that's what they're going to go for. And of course, on SmackDown, what other females are on the show that are clocking this kind of intensity and storyline? You got to have one of them turn babyface. So,
right.
I'm down. I know that
they've tried to do things with Lacey Evans and Naomi.
Yeah. Well, they turned them. And then Naomi had an awful
Lacey
match this past week.
And I didn't even think she was doing bad as a babyface. Actually, I was surprised that. I think she's such a natural heel. That's going to be her strong point. But I was surprised that she did as well as she did as a babyface, to tell you the truth. And I just think she's got the whole package to be a star there. They're kind of wasting her right now. Naomi is great. Don't get me wrong. But, they went with the hashtag. They tried to make something off of that. Then they made her look like absolute crap the past couple of weeks. I don't know what they're doing with that girl. She's a great talent. But like you said, this is just all getting rushed. And if you ask me right now, if time were to stop with COVID-19 pandemic being us talking about this 5 years from now, Doug, hopefully right here on the camera for the fans, you would say to me, Frank, what do you remember most about the pandemic era of WWE? And I would say Sasha and Bayley and Randy Orton just stealing the show every time they are on. I mean, that is it. Like, that is my takeaway. To me, I don't want to take anything away from other people doing good work, because there are other people doing very good work. But in every generation, there's going to be absolute standouts, and they have been the absolute standouts right now. It's no question.
Yeah, I know that. Let's see. Nate throwing out the question: Do we think we see the match in before the draft? The draft is supposed to happen in September, so we
don't need another draft. We need everybody.
Everyone should be available for both shows, but they're not going to do that.
I absolutely hate the roster split, and I said this years ago when it first happened again. And believe it or not, when this first happened again, SmackDown was a very entertaining show. What has gone on SmackDown from that brand split to where we are now is a catastrophe. And to think that this show has gone to Fox in that time just makes it even worse.
And drop 2 million viewers.
Yeah.
They're literally consistently only doing 2 million viewers. So
right.
They started at 4. Right. I see a ton of people saying that we need a full arena of fans for Sasha and Bayley. Look, you had a full arena of fans for 4 years while they were trying to do Sasha and Bayley, and it didn't work out. At the same time, you are 6 months minimum away from seeing live fans at these shows again. Now,
don't even think about this calendar year. That's done for me.
Well, I would say. No, I know that AEW is going to do some sparingly spaced out fans here soon, because they want to be the first ones to do it before WWE does it, even though WWE's, I'm sure, done it already. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past maybe December, but I would say for WWE, it won't be before January, if that
I think
early.
the target has to be the Rumble at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's still you're still trying to get to Hollywood for WrestleMania. That's the goal. Still trying to get to Hollywood for WrestleMania 37.
And unfortunately, touching on politics for a second, and I'm not going to go with personal thoughts, I'll just go with fact. They have a high number of cases out there. They have a governor who tends to lock down more things than try to be a little free about it. And I think that's a major issue. If they were going to a market where things have gone a little bit smoother, you have states like, and I'm not saying WrestleMania would ever be here, but you have states in this country like South Dakota that have had virtually no cases, and things are open, and people will get together there a lot sooner. But we're talking about, Gavin Newsom in California, and there's some major issues there. And, they've got all kinds of issues that go way beyond even professional wrestling right now, as far as opening the economy and getting people in public together. So that, to me, even with that being April, I'm a little worried, because that's where it's at.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see when that comes up. The next match on the card was Street Profits defending the Raw Tag Team Championship against Andrade and Garza, Angel Garza. I hate that for literally since they've been a team, there's been a tease of them breaking up.
You talking about Andrade and Garza?
Yes, there's been dissension between Garza and Andrade since they got together. And so there's never been a real thought that they could actually win the title. So I didn't go into this thinking that they would. And exactly what happened at the end of this thing was the exact same thing they've done in every match that I've seen them work on Raw. It's the same old. I was enjoying the match, and then the finish happens, and it takes me out of the match. Kevin Owens was doing a fantastic job on commentary, being super entertaining as he always is. Why they can't find something for him to do right now, I don't understand.
Do you think they're worried that he just may go home again and not want to be there? Do you think that could be it?
I don't know. I doubt it.
We may get something tomorrow. He announced Aleister Black on the show. We might.
Yeah, he's gonna have KO show, but knowing that they had nothing for him for SummerSlam is just. He was the number 2 babyface going into WrestleMania.
I get it. Good tag match. Listen, it was
standard. I would say it was a 2.
This could have been a good Raw match. You know what I mean?
It was a Raw match, and I've seen that exact Raw match 1,000 times in the last 6 months. So,
and like you said, we've never seen, Zelina's guys, as a perfect cohesive unit, and it's not good because they could make a badass tag team, but they keep teasing them breaking up. That was a whole disaster to begin with Austin Theory coming in, and then they traded him to Seth Rollins, and then he's just gone off programming. And
he was trying to get his wiener in a 14-year-old, so he got.
I did not know this.
Yeah, he was a part of the speaking out movement.
I did not know this.
Yes, that's where Austin Theory is.
Okay, well
Austin Theory was trying to mac.
Otherwise, you will no longer be on WWE television.
He was unless your name's the Velveteen Dream, and then you'll get put immediately in a ladder match, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Yes, Austin Theory was apparently trying to mac on the same 14-year-old girl that Josh Briggs was, and Josh Briggs was going to be coming in from Evolve, and that's not happening either.
I did not know any of this.
Yeah, that was part of all the speaking out stuff.
This is not good.
That went on. This was the only match that I would say. I've got thoughts on every match, but this was the match that I would be like, if you missed it, it's okay.
Right.
And I'm going to say that prefacing with, I have enjoyed the Sonya Deville Victoria turn on SmackDown. It's been one of the best things on SmackDown. She tapped into her inner Victoria, went a little crazy, even with the same hair pull, and went a little Black Widow. You just needed the, what was that? All the things you said, all the things you said, all the things you said.
TATU.
Yeah, you just need that theme song to rush in for her to come out here. So Sonya Deville was almost murdered Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville were almost murdered.
About
when they
that.
on Friday when they changed this hair versus hair match to loser leaves WWE, everyone should have known that it's Sonya getting the hell out for a while.
Oh, I mean,
a mutant tried to legit murder them. So
we, with you and I
had nothing to do with no one wanting to shave their head.
All right, with you and I having very strong personalities when it comes to wrestling commentary and what we've done the past couple of years, we need to talk about this on the show. Okay, we do need to speak about this. I have said for a long time that there is a certain portion of wrestling fans that are obsessive, immature, out of control. Okay, this does take it to a different level, but I'm sorry, there's a lot of instances where I have seen behavior that was just absolutely ridiculous from an adult human being when it comes to being around stars. And I'm talking about stuff that is in no way comparable to what we're about to talk about, okay? Do you remember Vicky Guerrero basically getting slapped in the back on Bourbon Street? I know you were.
Of course we did. And Dolph Ziggler turned around like he was about to jack that guy in the face.
And I would have loved to have seen it too.
Because they were passing us on our left as we were going on to the right.
This psychopath mother effer tried to literally kill Mandy.
Hashtag wash your ass, mutants. Yeah.
Literally tried to kill Mandy and kidnap Sonya Deville. Broke into her house, okay?
Sliced her screen on the screen patio, sliced the screen, snuck onto her patio, waited till she and Mandy went to bed, and then slipped in the back door, which triggered the alarm. Which, if you've never seen those kinds of homes and condos in Florida, when you go to open the door, you have to push a button to disable the alarm, and you have 10 seconds to close the door back before the alarm goes off. On either side of the door, inside and outside.
Thank God.
He must not have known that,
bro. Thank God.
Yeah. Can you imagine? This show would have happened.
Oh my God.
No way they would have been able to. I mean, I'm sure they probably would have still done SummerSlam, but because Vince is Vince.
This would have been the Benoit incident all over again, except it wasn't somebody.
Except it wasn't a tragedy with
right. It wasn't
Sonya killing Mandy. Right.
It would have been the Benoit incident for the first 24 hours as we all lived it before we knew what really happened. You know what I mean? Like, this is nuts. Okay, this guy didn't write this down in a notebook as a sick fantasy and leave it there.
No,
he actually went and did it. Okay, and
I don't know to everything.
I don't know what the laws are like down there, but I said to my wife, I said the scariest part for me up here in New York is that this son of a bitch, because of what the bail reform is up here right now, would have been out on the street the next morning. And those girls' lives would have been in danger all over again.
It's crazy.
So it's a scary world we live in, and everybody just do what you got to do to protect your families, because this is wild. We've heard some crazy stuff in wrestling. Yeah. This is scary, scary stuff. And I can't blame that girl for wanting to go home for a bit. At the same time, Doug, I'm saying to myself, sometimes in this instance, going home and not doing what you do in the normal and what you love to do can actually make this all worse.
Yeah.
And she did a great job doing what she had to do on Friday. I thought they did a good job tonight. It wasn't amazing by any stretch, but
it was fine.
Yeah, exactly. So
nothing horrible, but nothing.
It's her decision, but I don't personally love that she's going to go home for a while from this.
1 3/4 stars to 2 stars. I wouldn't put it above 2 stars. I thought, Mandy Rose has never been a great worker inside the ring, but Sonya's gotten better in both ring work and promo work. I thought this was the best she had done. So whatever Sonya needs to do to go home and have a healthy mental life and an actual feeling of safety, please go do so. Please get the hell out and go do that. Like, be well and be safe and learn where your joy is. I couldn't fathom what I would need to do to find a zen place again after knowing that someone broke in and tried to kill me.
And Andrew in the chat, I agree. Mandy's new outfit.
Awful.
This is a girl. This is a girl who's on the cover of magazines. This is a drop-dead, gorgeous, sexy, beautiful woman. What the hell was that?
It was the.
I'm not
she
even,
wore.
I'm not even minding that she covered up, because I'm not saying like she's got to be all exposed, but like this was like in That's My Boy with Adam Sandler when the old lady comes out with the bikini. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell was this? This
was her wearing her gold gear under Scott Steiner's NWO gear. Why did she put Scott Steiner's
White Thunder? Okay.
Why did she put on Scott Steiner's pre Big Papa Pump gear, the White Thunder superstar Billy Graham knockoff?
Man, did we know he was onto something when he started the White Thunder stuff, or what? I was like popping right away. He was great.
Yeah. So I mean, it literally was Scott Steiner's outfit.
It was awful.
But hey, nothing to make me go, okay, this match sucked.
Can I tell you, by the way, that I
didn't think it sucked.
I totally forgot that her and Otis were together until he came out.
Well, because Otis was gone with COVID for 45 days.
I'm saying, bro, like this is all.
And now, and we'll wait till we get to the end. When we get to the end, I'll bring up Otis again. Okay. Dominic Mysterio had his first match in WWE.
Excuse me. I miss JT right now.
I know, JT. It was as soon as we started talking about Sonya.
Oh my God. Mandy. The best.
Dominic.
That's what I think of with the WrestleMania show all night. We were dying.
Mandy. Dominic Mysterio. And then we proceeded to do that for a few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Dominic Mysterio had his first match against Seth Rollins. And let me tell you, even though I think someone else had a better debut this weekend, Dominic was awesome here. Did everything he needed to do.
Match of the night.
Okay.
This is my favorite match of the night.
Not going to hear any complaints from me.
This was a perfect blend of storytelling and great action. They had a great pace. They got everybody involved at ringside the right way. We had weeks of this buildup with Dominic and Ray. And yes, we're all not fans of the blinding incident and everything else, but let's run after that. Let's go with what they're doing with the kid. Dominic is a very good performer from what we saw tonight. And let me tell you something. Somebody said this to me earlier, and I don't know if I can argue with it or it's going to be up there for sure. They said this may be Seth Rollins' best work of the year. And
it is Seth Rollins' best work of the year.
He had a really good
KO at WrestleMania.
KO at WrestleMania was good. There's another better match he had with somebody that I remember being very good this year. But this is top three with what we're talking about right now. This was excellent. I mean, Rollins, they went in there and they really knew what to do. And I got to tell you, this couldn't have been short. This felt like we were in there for a while, and I didn't get bored of it whatsoever. I thought this was highly entertaining, and I would go back and watch it for sure. And oh man, dude, Dominic with the deep Dragon Steamboat arm drags. Yeah. I mean, it was just, oh my God, dude, this kid had some moves, bro. He looked really good. The match was excellent. The drama was there with the family. Rollins played his part excellent. Match of the night for me. I thought it was great.
Yeah, this was really good. I mean, I'd say again, on par with Bayley and Asuka, 3.5 stars, 3 3/4 stars, maybe, if you want to give that the edge for the night. Totally fine with that. I loved that Seth Rollins paid homage to Rey Mysterio's Phantom attire from 1997, Halloween Havoc.
Great.
Fantastic. Love that. Love the story being told here. I love that Dominic did not win this match. This should lead to more stuff at Payback next week, so bring it on. What they do, I'm not sure, but this has got to be some kind of retaliation against Seth next week. Maybe a tag match this go around with Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins, with Dominic and either Ray or Joe. We've heard that Joe has been cleared. Hey, I mean, Wayne brings it up. He says, and so did the commentators tonight. They brought up the fact that at SummerSlam 05, Dominic was hanging on a daggum pole in a ladder match to determine who was his actual father,
which is a great match. And by the way, if you want
to
go,
a ridiculous story.
Yeah. And if you want to go into even further SummerSlam connection with the family, he debuted at the same pay-per-view that his dad did.
Right.
That was his dad's first pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Was SummerSlam 02, 18 years ago. So, this was great as far as Mysterio lineage in WWE. Mm-hmm. And man, that kid lived up to everything he needed to tonight. I really see some potential in him. I thought when they had the match with Brock Lesnar, what was that last year? None of us had it on the radar as even being that great of a spectacle. We all talked about it being one of the most fun matches of the night. Dominic was great in that. The kid has something here. I mean, and I'm enjoying the segments that they've done with him over the past couple of weeks. That beating with the kendo stick on Raw. Oh my God. I mean, just brutal. And, it grabs your attention and it makes you want to see the match that we saw tonight. Rollins is playing his part as a bastard heel very well. This was my highlight of the night. We
got to talk about why it worked. Why it worked so much better this time around was because Seth Rollins was being the bastard heel, not the soft-spoken Jesus character that was.
Thank you.
The entire year that sucked. That was so boring in every promo. It's not even funny. This was the dick heel.
Yes.
When he does that, it's better. So I'm totally fine with him being this heel. Let's keep it with this. Dominic had a great debut. Can't argue. Fantastic movement. Fantastic. There's just little things.
He's not perfect. And he might never be, but
little things. Did he look real comfortable in there? Yes. I think he looked real comfortable in the ring itself. Everything else, all the extra stuff, presence, poise, it factor, entrance, like just owning his character, he's not there yet. But we'll talk about a little bit more about that.
It takes experience. He's got
reps.
Being in that situation with a father who is the legend that he is, that's a lot of pressure. And I got to tell you, the kid is living up to pretty good. I mean, look at what David Flair went through living in the shadow of Rick. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and Charlotte ended up coming through as the savior of that family.
Ashley lucked out. The David Flair stuff.
Yeah, and we don't know what Reed would have been. Rest in peace. You know what I mean?
He probably would have been incredible. But
yeah, exactly. So
he was turning it up.
It's hard. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's very hard when you have family above you that has a reputation and you have to live underneath that. It's not, there's a great part in the Godfather movies when Michael and Fredo are sitting together and, Fredo's kind of letting it out. Michael says to him, he goes, it's not easy being his son.
Yep.
And it's just, a lot of kids go through that. We see that.
Absolutely. Next up, Sasha Banks versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I'm not going to lie. I liked this match more than the Bayley Asuka one up until the finish. I thought that they were more crisp. I liked the Bayley match a lot. Again, 3.5 stars. I would give this one a 4 if the finish would have been perfect. It's still going to get a 3.25 from me, or 3 3/4 from me, because I thought it was a little bit better than the Bayley match, but they did not execute the finish the way it should have been. Asuka still, even though Bayley dodged,
there was still a full sequence after that. That was
Asuka still came over and hit her, and Bayley just sat on the apron. Like, if she would have gotten punched, like, she would have dodged and laughed in her face, and Sasha was cheering and ha ha ha, and then she goes to do the backstabber into the bank statement and gets rolled up into the Asuka lock, and then she's yelling for Bayley, and Bayley's knocked out on the outside because she got hit. That's a different story. But the way they did it, Bayley's literally just sitting there on the apron, which they can use, by the way. They can use that as a, see, look at you. You're just sitting there. You could have come in and helped, but you just sat there complaining about your face to no one. You could have come in. So maybe that's what they were going to do. Yes, Bayley jumping into the ring to save it would have been a DQ. and she wouldn't have lost the title on a DQ. That's why she was yelling for her. Like, yeah, Ed, like it would have been a DQ, but she wouldn't have lost the title on a DQ. So,
and that's what heels do for each other.
That's what heels do. If you're about to lose, save your friend's ass. Get them to keep their title. That's what they do. So, yes, everybody talk about the sunset flip powerbomb on the outside where Asuka, her head bounced so hard off the mats. Real bad. But I think, and I think Nate's with me here, the execution could have been more crisp and defined to where you knew for sure this is what they were going for. But I think this is kind of like what they're going for here. And it's what I laid out. I thought she should have been able to get in the ring to help her, but chose not to. And she's blaming it on the fact that Asuka was too fast and she couldn't get over there.
This needed the Evolution ending in the Elimination Chamber when, I forget, Doug, you might remember, it was either Orton or Batista getting pinned, and Triple H is in the corner, and he pulls himself up to go help and break up the pin, and then he just
not to
back down. And he doesn't participate, and he just lets his fellow member get eliminated. I don't remember exactly.
So this was when they were building towards the Randy Orton win in SummerSlam, right?
Yes.
So that was 04. So I think Batista got pinned. I think
it was right. It could have been on the road to Mania 21 with Batista, or it was with Orton. I don't remember particularly which one. But
it was I think Orton was the one that got pinned, and that's when he was like, "Well, screw you, I'm going to win the title the next."
Exactly. So basically, Triple H was about to help his teammate, and then it's like, okay, well, wait a second. If he gets eliminated, I'm better off anyway. It's one more guy out of here, and he just halfway through the pin count, just let himself back down and collapse. And that's exactly what you needed in this situation. And like you said, it didn't come off perfect. I think you can coin flip with either one of these matches as far as, Asuka matches tonight. I thought they were both very good. It's funny because I actually recently said that I think Sasha Banks is probably my favorite wrestler in wrestling right now. And I tell you the truth, I thought that I've seen her and Asuka have better matches lately. And I thought, to me, that the Bayley match came off a little crisper, to tell you the truth. So I went with the Bayley match over the Asuka match tonight, over the Sasha match tonight. But both very good. We know where this is heading. A little clunky at the end for that finish, but, again, we know what they're trying to accomplish. They'll be fine. They'll cut it the right way with the edits and the promo packages that they show to make it look good. We'll be okay. But, but again, and let me bring this up, and I know the booking right now calls for it, and I know where we're headed, and I know booking-wise it's a good decision, so nobody needs to fight with me, but I just want to say, oh my God, can my girl, Sasha Banks,
no, she can't.
The title once, one time? Can this girl defend a championship? Like, if you knew you were going to do this, have her beat somebody on Raw. No. My God, do something. It's killing me.
No. The whole point was, I mean, I literally do think that they do this because she complains about it. Like, I think it's them, like, oh, you want to complain about the fact that you've never defended a title? We're going to make you lose the title again.
So, who's the heel and who's the babyface when they break up?
That's the question.
I mean, Bayley's the one that didn't help her.
Bayley is the better heel right now.
Tough call.
Sasha's a great heel. And here's the deal. Sasha is better suited to be a heel. Her character is no doubt best to be the heel. Bayley is better suited as the babyface.
Yes.
However,
at this very moment,
Bayley is killing it as a heel right now. Do you really want to change that? I wouldn't. That's just me.
I think it's a tough situation either way because, like you said, she's got the hot hand right now and she's really killing it. And by the way, a lot of us doubted that when this first started. I mean, she is just one of the hardest people to ever turn heel with what we were dealing with before that. She's killing it. I mean, she has been great.
Yep.
And Sasha is one of those people that's a little too cocky to come off and get real fan sympathy and appreciation as a babyface. So Bayley is going to have to do some really dirty, dastardly shit to Sasha for Sasha to get some major sympathy here to actually play the babyface in this.
Here's the thing, friends, as everybody's saying, can't they just stay both bitchy heels? No, SmackDown needs a babyface.
It wouldn't work for the feud anyway.
No, it wouldn't. And again,
you wouldn't care about it.
You'd probably one of the
bell, but you wouldn't care about it. I mean, watch Martel versus Michaels at SummerSlam '92. Those two guys are amazing athletes, but it's just tough to watch because it's just you don't know who's doing what.
If you want to keep them both heel, like say it looks like they're so mad at each other that it's time to feud, but then they get drafted to different shows. That's how you can keep them away until WrestleMania if you really want to, and then bring them back together. But I wouldn't lose the fire. All your heat goes away.
The break has to make somebody really dirty, and somebody else get a lot of sympathy.
Yep.
I mean, it has to.
Yep. And
with
so
all the history, yes, it has to.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm totally on board with that. WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton. This match was great. I like this match a lot. Again, another 3 3/4 4-star match. Chris,
it took a little bit to get into it, but I think that was deliberate, Doug.
It was the pace. It was pacing. They knew they were going 20 minutes. They were going 20 plus, actually. Great pacing, in my opinion. I think they did great. Orton screwed himself. Orton could have won the match with the RKO. He chose not to. He chose to set up for the punt, and that's where the snake bit himself in the ass. He sets up for the punt. Doesn't work. McIntyre catches him, hits him with the power bomb, but then he goes for the Claymore, and Orton ducked and tried to reverse into an RKO, but McIntyre spun into a backslide, and for the love of God, in 2020, a backslide gets a win. Thank you, God. This
at
move
SummerSlam for the championship, Doug.
Right. So I'm not mad at it. It's about time that a backslide can still get a GD victory when it is like if someone's hooking your head like that, it's easy. Grab their arms, slide them over you. Right. Thank you for using actual technical wrestling to have a move actually win a match as a believable reversal to a finish. I loved it. Loved this finish. Orton immediately rolls outside and looks like a deer caught in the headlights. Holy shit. If I hadn't have done that, I would have been fine. If I would have just went for the RKO and not gone for the punt, I would have been fine. You could see it on his face. Protected both guys. Immediately sets up the rematch in the week because no RKO was ever finished.
Right.
This was awesome. I'm all about this. Do I think that maybe Orton wins next week? Perhaps.
It's possible.
Perhaps.
Although I think this is an instance where we're going to get one of those feuds where, let's say the match is next week, which, by the way, I'm not positive.
I'm not positive it is either.
That they're going to roll with this 1 week later, to tell you the truth. But I will tell you this.
But I don't know who's set up for Drew next week. If
he might not defend the title next week. We don't know for sure.
That'll be.
I think we're going to get a little bit of that with 2 weeks in a row, Doug, to tell you the truth. I got to say this. So, few things here. I want to talk about the backslide, but first I want to talk about this. Orton is going to use, like we've seen before, when other people decide to make a feud for the month for a rematch out of a move. You never took the pedigree, so you can't beat me this time. Spear with Jericho and Edge. Here we go again, okay? It will be in the next promo all about you won, but if I catch you with the RKO, which you never took, you're going down for the 3 count, which means the next match is all about Drew taking the RKO and getting up from it and not getting the 3 count, okay? Which leads me to believe that we're going to end up with Drew winning that match too. Now, he could take one and kick out and take another one and lose. It's possible. Yeah. As far as the match, I thought it was very good. It deliberately did not deliver everything because this is going further. And that's fine.
Correct.
As far as the backslide goes, and I say this all the time, and there's 2 people that come to my mind, and there's probably more than you could throw out, but 2 people immediately come to my mind when it comes to winning big matches without having to tap someone out or knock them out cold and make them look bad.
Bret Hart.
Daniel Bryan and Bret Hart, okay?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Bret Hart won 3 matches in a row at the King of the Ring without knocking anybody cold or making them tap out.
Yep.
Every one of them was basically a reversal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Also, Yokozuna slipping off the rope at WrestleMania 10 for a title win. Yoko immediately got up from that. You don't have to make a guy look bad by tapping or look bad by taking a finisher and laying unconscious in order to win a match. It is possible to win a match and have a guy just get caught so that they still look good. And you say, oh, damn, it was a quick, small package or something. Hey, one of probably, in my opinion, the best Kevin Nash match of his life against Bret Hart at Survivor Series 95.
Without a doubt.
Plays possum, rolls him up in the small package. Nash gets pissed and pops right back up, and he just
beats the crap out of him, yeah.
Oh, well, he powerbombs him twice and basically tells him, which we found out later on in the Bret book, remember I did the effing job for you. Yeah, we know all that. But this is something that I've felt that so many more people and matches can incorporate these days, and they don't. By the way, this could happen on a Raw. This could happen on a B pay-per-view. This happened at a SummerSlam in a match, and I'm very happy about that, to tell you the truth. I like that.
Yep.
I mean, look at the end of Bret and Bulldog.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, we're down with this. Love the finish. 3 3/4 to a 4-star match there. This next one, the main event, we knew that the fact that this was going on last
something
was going on, and we'd heard the rumors about Roman Reigns returning, and we got it. The Fiend is now the Fiend Bray Wyatt. They're just attaching the Fiend. There's no longer his own entity. It is Bray Wyatt in an outfit, so that when he gets obliterated by Roman Reigns, it's not the Fiend getting killed like what they were trying to do at Hell in a Cell, where he doesn't ever get hurt. This is not it. He's Bray Wyatt now, with a mask on, playing a character. They've killed the whole intrigue of he's impenetrable, which they did that with Goldberg, but now with Roman Reigns being back, he's even more dead. This match is what it was. Falls Count Anywhere, big man brawl. Like, that's all it was. I didn't absolutely hate it. I don't like Braun. He's the big Stro. Now that he's turned and he's shaved his head, Braun Strowman is just the next big show. He is the big Stro. And that's what it felt like to me. It felt like a big show match circa 2010. Falls Count Anywhere. Cool entrance for the Fiend still, but this went to, okay, let's tear up the ring, sloppy finish, weak anticlimactic finish, and then the Fiend, who they've been, wanting to rehab since the Goldberg loss, legit gets murdered again.
But everybody got murdered. It wasn't just him. So
I understand.
We'll get to
I understand. But and we'll get there. But how many effing times is Bray Wyatt going to get slaughtered because of Roman Reigns' push? I'll ask that question, and then we'll move on. Okay. What did you think about the match itself?
All right. So I have been very critical of this feud, both in talking with you guys, both in talking with, Joe Omega and a couple other people I talk wrestling with. I am not into it. And I thought the Swamp match sucked, and I thought a lot of the stuff that they've been going back and forth with him brainwashing Strowman, and now Strowman's back to being okay. It just you can do the supernatural stuff. I get it. Like the week he kidnapped Alexa was cool, you know what I'm saying? But like, you have to have a set storyline and make some progress along the road. I mean, every time we drive a block straight down the road, the next week with this feud, they don't make a right turn at the corner. They make a right turn through somebody's living room of a house, okay? It's just out of nowhere, and they don't know where they're going. It's insane. I have been so critical of this, and I like both of these guys. Strowman is a champ that should have never been champ. This was supposed to go to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, so the whole thing has kind of just been there.
Yeah.
They had history because of the Wyatt family. Some of it worked. Some of it was utter garbage. And going into tonight, I was saying to myself, this is nowhere on my radar for tonight. I don't even care. Saying that, I actually enjoyed the match. I'm not saying it was great. I'm saying I enjoyed it for what it was. They started working. They did some good spots. They had good chemistry together. I liked how Bray went right for him and did the neck snaps right in the beginning to kind of take him down and juice Strowman down a little bit so he could work him. Otherwise, it was going to look like a complete mismatch. And then, of course, they went to Gorilla, which I thought was cool. The ending was a little clunky with cutting up the ring and everything, but listen, the Fiend has the championship. It's off of Strowman, which I think, is a good move right now. I don't feel like you do about Bray getting hurt for Roman, I guess. I think just Bray just gets hurt by everybody. I mean, if you look,
but hang on.
I was talking about this the other day.
All right. Mm-hmm.
There is almost nobody in the conversation since WrestleMania 30 for WrestleMania moments and matches in a big scenario than Bray Wyatt. I mean, this guy has done monumentally well when it comes to the big show of the year. Working with the right people, big promoted matches, considered one of the few main events this couple of times. And then they just throw him off the rails and just destroy either his character or his push or his win-loss record or whatever it is. And you and I have talked about this ad nauseum since 2014.
There's a reason why. And it's because Roman Reigns must be pushed as the top guy. So hang on. It goes all the way back to I get the whole when he's the heel on Raw going against Roman Reigns with the family, and he didn't win, but he was in main event matches for the title. That's whatever. But immediately he's dead after that, and it takes a while to rehab him. They're working with Randy Orton. They do the stupid House of Horrors. They could do the stupid worms in the ring that we watched. Stupid. Killed him, and then he was going to SmackDown to do some stuff, except now Roman Reigns is going to be the top guy on SmackDown, so Bray Wyatt put on Raw and a tag team with Matt Hardy. We know how that went. But statistically, not just Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt. I mean, Daniel Bryan was being that way as well. I mean, AJ Styles to a degree. Thank God they moved into the other show so AJ Styles could actually be WWE champion on SmackDown for a year in 2016, because if they would have kept him on Raw, murdered by Roman Reigns. The Roman push hindered a lot of people. That being said, Bray's gone for a while, comes back, has this character that debuted 1 year ago tonight, was his debut match as The Fiend. Yes. He was the most interesting, intriguing character. Everyone lost their effing minds for his debut at SummerSlam.
For an entrance.
Everyone lost their minds for The Fiend last year at SummerSlam. And then they do the red light. They do Hell in a Cell. They do him winning the title, and it's okay. The presentation of the character is real cool, but the way they're doing his character in the ring sucks.
Don't forget, they had both his big win and big loss, not even in the United States, on Saudi shows, both of them, which I think really hurt it. Mm-hmm. And they were both during times when a lot of people weren't watching live and it was spoiled. Mm-hmm. And I just hate that whole scenario.
Yep. So, I mean, they do that. He wins the title. You're kind of hoping, okay, can you stop doing the red light? Can you stop doing the now, Daniel Bryan gave him a good match in the red light, but then the next match with Daniel Bryan, it was great. There was no red light. But then, yes, Goldberg. The beginning of the end for The Fiend. Loses to Goldberg. Has the whatever you think about the Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania.
It's going to be one of the most talked about things on that show forever. So to me, that's a positive.
So whatever you think about that, then okay, he's going to go back after the title. Put him when Braun wins the title. You put him with Braun. You have the story. It's okay to tell. They do the stupid swamp match with that, which I hated. And then they build towards this one all wacky, where they literally turned Braun Strowman babyface and turned Braun Strowman heel and turned Bray Wyatt babyface.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. And I'm like, what are they doing? I don't understand. And it gets to this match. They do this finish. He wins the title. And then out of nowhere, as soon as he stands up to grab the title, Roman Reigns pops up and spears him. Now, here's what I'll say about the end of the show. Yeah, here's what I'll say about the end of the show. It was entertaining. I wasn't bored. There was a lot of there was a lot of moxie to it. Roman Reigns showed a more
aggressive
side. Now, here's the thing.
That was not succotash Roman Reigns.
He needs to be. Well, here's the thing. No matter, like, him, even when he was talking trash, I was like, I don't like the swagger you're using in your voice. It's the same thing. It's the same tone that you used when you were saying suffering succotash. So please stop. Like, can we not, like, you just need to be angry and don't do the this is my house, son. You wouldn't even be a monster if it wasn't for me. Do the get in his face and be mad. Don't use your swagger voice. Just be mad. Just yell. Just be angry.
There's such thing as like talking crap in the ring, but then sometimes they start doing too much and you're getting too much out of it. Too many words, too long of sentences. Like, and if you're really mad at somebody in a fight, you're not like, you're not
dictating. No, you're not. So just be mad. He obliterated both guys. He's wearing a new shirt that says "Wreck everyone and leave," which, if you take that into context, then Roman Reigns is going to be a tweener who's like a solitary guy who just wrecks everyone.
But
there's positives and minuses to this. The positive is, hey, it's a different Roman Reigns. It's not the same goody two shoe Roman Reigns, but he should be a full blown freaking heel, and he should be running the show as The Rock did in 1998, 1999 as the corporate champion. He should be the top guy with the title as an effing heel, because everyone was booing him before he left. Everyone would have booed him in the Goldberg match. It would have happened. Just everyone needs to recognize.
I think everybody would have booed both of them.
Yes, it would have been. Yes, it would have been Brock and Goldberg. Like, it would have been, both would have been booed.
Yep.
But he came in, he hit the spear, and then he got back in there and he hit the Fiend with another spear, and the second one was even more forceful than the first. And here's my problem with the end of the show. Everyone talks about good. We see it's a more aggressive Roman Reigns. We've needed to see a more aggressive Roman Reigns. No, you need to see a heel Roman Reigns, not an aggressive Roman Reigns, a heel Roman Reigns. Okay, that's what you need to see. You need to say heel Roman Reigns. A more aggressive Roman Reigns is still burying people like the freaking Fiend by hitting him with 2 freaking spears right after he won the title and doesn't even get to get his shine. He gets attacked immediately. So Fiend is dead. For now. Like, that's why they attached Bray Wyatt back to his name. Fiend is dead for a while. He is the champion, but obviously not for long. Roman Reigns is back and supposed to be the face of the show. I told you guys before the show even started, I guarantee you we see Roman Reigns, because they showed a brand new commercial for WWE on Hulu, and Drew McIntyre was the only person pushed on the Raw side, and Roman Reigns was the only person pushed on the SmackDown side. So obviously he was coming back tonight, and obviously he's going to be the top guy on SmackDown, and maybe they'll think that'll fix all of our ratings issues. We have Roman Reigns back, blah, 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 blah. But the fact is, I still saw the same guy that they pushed for 5 years get to stand tall at the end of the night. Roman must pose just like he's Hulk Hogan at the end of a show. And he takes out the guy that was the most interesting character a year ago and who just won the title and didn't even get a chance to celebrate with it. On top of all of that, he destroyed the champion. And the guy who has the Money in the Bank briefcase, who showed up earlier in the night and threw his briefcase in the ring, never even tried to cash in. Otis is a dum-dum, because this is the only chance when the Fiend is champion that you would have to attack him and win the title out of nowhere. And guess what? Wouldn't you rather want Roman Reigns beating Otis for the title and burying that guy who is not over to the status that the freaking Fiend is? Because now it's going to be the Fiend getting murdered even more, and I'm going to have to do another funeral on Living the Gimmick for Bray Wyatt. Why did Otis not come up? Like, why did he not come out?
I would say that maybe he was afraid Roman Reigns kicked the shit out of him too.
But
it's not like Roman left the ring and we were left there with their dead body.
No, Roman must pose with title whilst yelling at the Fiend, I am better than you and I am the real champion. You're a bitch. Literally what he said. You're a bitch.
I kind of like
my title.
The truth.
You're a bitch in a mask is what he said. And I'm like,
right.
Are we kidding? So he's dead. Everybody you were excited. You got a year. You got a year of the guy. If you like the character, cool. He's not gonna win that title again.
All right. Few things.
Yes.
First off, my idea for Otis at this point, I think the best thing that you could do, and this is horrible to say because I like the guy, but I do not see him challenging for the championship.
No one does. He shouldn't have won the daggone briefcase.
So here's what you do. You have a very sloppy fat guy with a gorgeous blonde. And in this case, women tend to use those types of men for something that they have besides their looks. I think that he should gift it to Mandy, and somehow in a loophole, Mandy uses it to win women's championship.
All about it.
And then she dumps Otis.
All about that storyline.
That would be perfect. That is the only way you can go with this right now. And she would cut the evil hot bitch promo of the century after she screws that fat boy over. Okay? That would be effing awesome. Okay? I haven't heard anybody say that either.
Yeah, I mean, Jason said, Otis did say when he won the briefcase that he wants to cash it in for a shot at the tag titles. They haven't done that, so what are they waiting for? Right. There's been a heel tag team as the tag team champions for 2 months.
You and I both know
they weren't on this show.
You and I both know it's not logic on screen that is keeping him from cashing it in. It is behind the scenes. What are we going to do with this? Because they booked it not knowing what the hell they were going to do with it.
Absolutely right. Yes.
Second, Roman Reigns looked good tonight. I like the aggression. I'm a Roman.
Of course he looked strong, man. They booked him that way.
But hang on. When do you typically see a good guy return who just lays out everybody to close a show? Like, the minute he went after Strowman also, and I kind of saw how he hit the Fiend.
When it's Roman Reigns.
Man, that looks kind of heelish. And then, he's talking all this junk, and he's just beat the piss out of. I mean, that was a slaughter with a steel chair to Braun Strowman on the outside.
Who's a heel?
Slaughter. Can we? You want to say that? I don't know. I still technically think Strowman's a good guy. I mean,
dude, they piped in nothing but booze for him when he came out.
So what?
Telling you, he's the heel. For the last 3 weeks on SmackDown, they've piped in booze for the man.
But I felt that was him being brainwashed by the power of the Fiend. You know what I mean?
He's completely changed. Remember, it's not a brainwashing.
I think it's
the Fiend is the prince down in NXT. He hasn't been the same. Daniel Bryan's on the show. He had a kid, but he cut his hair
and they booked
and went back to the Yes Man.
Was the heel by having him come out strong.
No, in this feud, the Fiend was the babyface the entire time. Where were you the last 3 weeks on SmackDown?
I disagree, bro.
You've lost your mind. They piped in cheers. Frank.
I disagree.
No, you can't. Here's the thing. This is not an opinion-based thing. This is not an opinion-based thing. This is not opinion-based. It's not.
And I'm not begrudging you for what you're saying because I think both.
They told you what to think.
I think both of us and everybody watching WWE should be very confused right now because this storyline has been total shit. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
There's no fascination with any of that. Okay,
that's true.
This has gone off the rails and back on, and like I said, driving straight down the street and through Mr. Marley's friggin' living room. Okay, this is nuts. Like they're not making sense.
No.
So I don't expect you and I to be on the same page right now.
That's totally fine. You're right about the story sucking and that they convoluted it and that it was awful. But you're wrong when you say that this is an opinion-based thing because, Frank, they have the opportunity right now to use the audio on the show to tell you what the story is and who's the bad guy and who's the good guy. And for the last 2 weeks on SmackDown and on this show, they have piped in booze boos for Braun Strowman and cheers for The Fiend. When The Fiend came out, it was exuberant cheery. And when Braun Strowman came out and the train sounded and he walked out with his vest and he was the big Stro, boo city. So no, you can't sit there and say that they weren't trying to tell me that Braun was the bad guy.
And why I'm saying none of this makes any sense, because what you're saying is right. But now let's go to the second part of this. You're talking about entrances. So now the bell rings, and let's say you are the heel and I am the babyface in a match. Am I going to start the match by attempting to snap your neck several times?
Oh, that's the Fiend. He's an anti-hero. No, that's one of his moves.
Such a heel beginning to support the babyface.
Braun got the heat the entire match.
What babyface has ever tried to break someone's neck?
That one. The Punisher, a vigilante, an anti-hero. That, yes, in that match, even the style of the way that
Suicide Squad at best, and they're still bad guys. Okay, let's get that straight.
I'm not saying the Fiend is a believable babyface, but that's who they were trying to tell you was the babyface. He got a little bit of offense at the beginning. Braun got the heat, threw him all around the arena. Braun cut up the ring, and it wasn't until then that Bray got a comeback and won the match with the finish. That's what happened. The entire match, Braun Strowman played heel, and Bray played babyface, and they even piped in the freaking tears for you so that you would know who was which. Do I think it was a good storyline?
And I was just going to get to this. I don't think this is a definitive answer. I'm not saying you or I are wrong, because the beginning of the match shows my side of the argument, and the ending of the match clearly shows yours. I mean, you had a guy ripping
the only thing that you're going off of is that he did a fake neck snap. That's it.
But I don't.
And that's one of his offensive maneuvers. Not saying it's a good one for a babyface to have. It's not. But that's literally the only thing he did. And then he literally
let's just put it like
beat down for 80% of the match.
We are having this debate right now because they have booked this like absolutely.
Yeah, it's horrible. Okay? But what they were trying to tell you was Bray is the babyface. Braun is the heel. And then here comes the tweener making his return.
Yeah.
Just jacked to the gills in a shirt that says wreck everyone and leave. And he obliterates.
And by the way, hang on. So you've got two guys that are now basically both acting heel. Okay, let's call it that. Okay. And you have another guy come back who's been super, super babyface for how
there was nothing babyface about Roman Reigns other than the fact that nothing other than the fact that he stood tall amongst two main event monsters. That's what made him a babyface.
To them is not anything that a babyface would ever do. I mean, Austin jumped people, he dropped them with a stunner, and he ran out of there. This guy beat the shit out of Braun Strowman with a chair like we haven't seen in a long time. The whole thing does.
It doesn't make any sense.
The whole thing doesn't make any sense.
No.
And I'm honestly very confused where we go with Roman Reigns. That was the point of me talking about all this, because they're not going to book him as an actual heel. But at the same time, that's not a hero on this thing that we saw tonight. You know what I mean? What's that?
I'm going with a triple threat on Sunday. And he pins Strowman for the title. He doesn't beat the Fiend for the title.
You think he's going to get the belt right away?
I think he's getting the belt right a freaking way. Yes.
I don't know. I think we're going to run with the chase a little bit today.
No. But what chase? He obliterated him on the show. There is no chase left.
He obliterated him after a whole match. I mean,
But it's the Fiend who couldn't be affected by a cell, a box of tools to his face. None of this makes sense, Frank.
We're already past that. Okay?
None of this makes any sense.
Goldberg put us past.
None of this makes any sense. The only thing that makes sense is a GD triple threat on Sunday, and Roman wins the title from Strowman by pinning him. That's the only way. Like, the Fiend just gets it stole from him again.
You may be right.
And the Fiend is chasing Roman. That's the thing. But Roman, if he's going to be a badass tweener, has to have the title. He can't chase, because no one's going to believe that. He just obliterated two monsters. at the end of a show with spears.
This is all effed up because of what they've done with Strowman and Fiend for the past month. That's what's going on.
But it's the same thing that they're doing Roman for 6 years now. We're beginning year 6 of the Roman push, everybody. Strap in. That's SummerSlam. That's where we were with SummerSlam.
This is the first time he actually looks slightly appealing. That's the sad part.
Right. But
he doesn't even have somebody to go against that makes sense right now because it's just all effed up, and that's why SmackDown has been in the shape that it's been in. It's not good. The whole thing's not good.
It's not.
And Jordan said up in the chat, he goes, "Don't call me crazy, but I'm wishing Brock Lesnar returns." You're not crazy, bro. That'd be okay by me.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? What where would Brock fit into any of this right now?
No idea. A lot of people don't fit into any of this right now. You can thank COVID-19 for some wild shit that went on because, yeah,
I don't know. Look at this running in. Look at this running asshole.
There he is.
Bro,
John Alba's on the show. Hello.
Traitorous bastard.
Dick.
I just got us a ton of new followers. Maybe with new patrons. So I just put more money in your pocket.
Frey. You didn't get me shit. Put on your mask. What are you talking
about? We just wrapped up talking about SummerSlam.
That's okay. I just want.
We're about to talk about Takeover.
Okay, we could talk about Takeover. Great.
Yeah. So,
wait. We just had a good debate. John, I need your take on the ending of SummerSlam.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's not what the debate was.
Doug, I'm not saying this because I want to be proven right, because I don't think either one of us are right. I think the whole thing's a cluster F. I just want to hear what John thinks about all this. That's all I want.
But that wasn't what the debate was. John,
there's no debate. I don't care. I mean, if he wants to address it, it's fine.
You yelled at me, and then I told you were wrong because it was not an opinion-based thing.
Welcome,
John.
To life,
WWE. No. Stop. Because if it was an opinion-based thing, I'm totally down for debate. This wasn't an opinion-based thing. John, who was the heel? No, stop. In the main event, who was WWE telling you the heel was in that match?
Like who worked as the heel in that match?
Who did they tell you via the piped in audio, and who worked the heel in that match? Who was the heel in that match?
Me watching the match work-wise, I thought Strowman was trying to be the babyface in that match. But I mean, the story they've been telling you for weeks is that like Strowman's like a quasi heel. So I was very confused.
They have piped in boos. They piped in straight nut. He had no cheers for his entrance. And no cheers when they announced his name.
Maybe that's
all boos.
Maybe that's the case, but like actual work-wise in the match,
dude,
the babyface.
No, he got the heat. Bray Wyatt got the shine, and Bray Wyatt got the comeback at the end. Braun Strowman's the one that got the heat on Bray Wyatt for most of the match.
But I think it was also a case of just
what the hell did I watch? I watched the match and I listened to the audio, and the audio is telling me he's the heel. They had cheers for Bray Wyatt.
I mean, I just tell you, I think the whole audio situation is so bad that I'm not sure what I'm listening to when people come out. Okay?
And then I watched the match and I'm like, Bray Wyatt gets a couple of offensive moves in the beginning. Then he gets then Strowman gets the heat for 10 minutes. And then Bray Wyatt gets the comeback and wins the match. How is that not a babyface work mentality from Bray Wyatt?
Bray Wyatt trying to snap the guy's neck several times. So I'm saying,
but that's his maneuvers. It's not, again, it doesn't work. He's not a babyface.
The whole point is the dynamic was really bad in this match.
So never mind that. Let's skip all that because we're past that. So now Fiend wins. Reigns comes back. I mean, give me your thoughts on all three of them at that point. With
kills them. It was three tweeners all just together there in the ring. But Roman Reigns was awesome in that, and he's calling. He said that
this is where it becomes opinion based.
He said Strowman was his bitch. He said that Wyatt was just a loser in a mask or whatever the terminology that he used was. Look. All we've been asking for from Roman Reigns was authenticity, right? And this felt like a lot more of an authentic Roman Reigns. Now, the question becomes, I know, Doug, this is probably the point you were making, can you follow that up, and will you sustain that and draw that out week to week?
Right.
That is still yet to be seen.
Dude, they're doing a triple threat between these three guys this coming Sunday, and Roman Reigns is winning the title.
You think they're doing the match this Sunday?
Yes.
I don't think they are.
I don't think that either, and I think Roman's going to chase for the title for a little bit. That's my thought.
I think Payback is more going to be for a WWE Championship rematch. They'll do the women's title match, and then I think you're going to see the Lashleys and Apollos and the Jeff Hardys and AJ Styles type.
Thank you.
I don't think you're going to see Universal title on that.
Yeah,
show.
I don't. I said I think big titles could be off this show coming up. I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know how you could not watch that last segment and not see three tweeners. I mean, there were
Strowman has not been a tweener for 3 weeks.
I don't disagree with you, Doug, that like obviously he's been, but they are trying to get across the idea that he was still a top babyface. And like
Weeks ago.
you have that weird
I still say he was mind warped. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and they kind of put that over on commentary a little bit. And this, again, it was a situation where, frankly, I don't care about Braun Strowman.
No, that's the issue. No
care.
one cares about Braun Strowman. He's the big Stro.
Yeah.
And he's the GD heel in all of this.
Yeah.
They literally told him, he literally told Braun, hey, Bray Wyatt, you can kill her. I don't care. I don't care about her.
Yeah.
And then booze for the next 2 weeks. He's the heel. He tried to he attempted murder when he, just like you did when he was a heel facing Roman Reigns. He threw the guy off of the concrete, whatever. He's a heel.
The whole thing is convoluted and
of course it's convoluted. It's WWE in 2020.
And that's why we're all confused right now, and rightfully so, because I don't think anybody with a pen and paper back there is booking any of this correctly. Okay, and that's it. That's where we're at.
Let's go talk.
As far as the Roman thing, again, yes, he had a different attitude. That's cool. But again, what happened? They had him look strong and hold a title up at the end of the show. So nothing's changed in 6 years. We're beginning year 6 of the push. Let's go to NXT, where again we were told in between the 2 title matches that Keith Lee is immediately on Monday Night Raw. He's immediately on Raw as of tomorrow. So, what? Where do we go from there? I mean, I know we're going to talk about the takeover here in a second, but what do we do about Keith Lee tomorrow night? Where does he go? Who does he work with?
I would go Seth Rollins with Keith Lee.
Could you imagine he debuts in Raw Underground?
That would be the bad idea.
Roman Reigns. Put Roman Reigns in Raw Underground and make him like kill the show. Like just put him in there, make that that segment go away. Raw Underground sucks. Here's the thing. I don't mind the whole Seth Rollins thing, but the Seth Rollins and Dominic thing doesn't feel done. And they got a week to build towards a match.
I agree. That's not finished.
Well, I think you could. I think you could do the tag team. You could do the tag team match.
So Joe is not cleared.
I don't know what Joe's situation is. I really honestly.
Why would they do that teasery without having a match planned?
I mean, they could just do Joe and Seth Rollins. I don't know where Keith Lee fits in because it looks like I would not be surprised if we get a heel Aleister Black on Raw this week.
Well, yes, with the whole KO saying that he invited him to the KO show, it feels like he's going to turn heel.
Right. So that gets one out of the way there. I don't know where he goes unless it's.
And boy, are they misusing KO right now.
It's just there's a lack of credible people on Raw. They could do one of those burner feuds with Keith Lee to start, where he gets put with a nobody just to beat them, and then you start your slow.
Well, what we were talking about earlier, I said when we were talking about the kickoff match, and I was talking about the United States Championship, and most people in our chat,
Bobby Lashley.
Well, most people in our chat were talking about the fact that Apollo Crews needs a mouthpiece, which they're not wrong. And how we talked about, well, the original plan was MVP. It can still be MVP if Keith Lee goes after the United States Championship. But I wouldn't put Keith Lee in that mid-card title picture right now. I would let everyone know he's more important than mid-card title.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. He should be in your main event.
The kickoff match for TakeOver was actually a good tag match. 2.5, 2 3/4 star tag match between Legado del Fantasma, Breezango, and Orny Larkin and Danny Burch, who are always awesome. This match ruled. They beat the piss out of each other. And it came down to Tyler Breeze and Fandango getting the win. They're the new number one contenders for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Joaquin Wilde was great. Orny Lorcan was great in this match. Like everything about this worked for me.
Yeah, certainly. And I was saying it just on the Fightful show just before. I think Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch should be like on the main roster as a tag team that you can put in there in any role. I think Vince would fall in love with them. I think they have that Elias kind of role where maybe in NXT they didn't really do a whole lot, but I think they could be a formidable team on the main roster if you want to move them there.
I can watch Orny Lorcan against anyone.
Missed the pre-show matches both nights, and I'm mad that I did because this was a weird takeover show for me because I'm usually looking forward to the tag match on the show, and we didn't get a tag match on the main show. So
second one in a row.
Yeah, you pointed that out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but by God, did we get an awesome match to kick the show off? Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher. I loved this match. 4 stars from me, gentlemen. Mat wrestling, old school, actual wrestling for the first 10 minutes of this match, and then they got the pro wrestling stuff in after that. I loved everything about this. I love Timothy Thatcher. You know this already. But I was a big fan of Balor getting the win here, as he should, if they're still going to push him as a credible threat towards one of the titles and or Walter.
Frank, I'm curious what you think of Timothy Thatcher.
I love this style. You have a guy.
He's Kurt Angle from Shut Your Mouth, where he's 99% on reversals, and he kicks your ass just by reversing stuff.
He's a grappler, and he just you can tell he knows his way around the ring. Very methodical. He can throw you into submission, and just everything about not only what he did, but also what the whole match was. Like we talked about before with Orton and Drew, I felt like from the very beginning of that match, it was very deliberate of the pace and what they were going to do out there. And I just thought sometimes you have a great match where you feel like you could kind of just throw away that 3 minutes and the first 3 minutes of it, and it could have been anything and it wouldn't matter because it was all building up to the back. But this, I felt like, had the whole thing from the beginning. Like they just did a great job, the two of them.
You have to put Finn Balor in a title position now.
Yeah, and again, that's why I was saying.
I'm shocked he hasn't been since going down there. I mean, it's crazy.
Title, I don't know, because it could be the North. Listen, he and Priest for the North American title would be an outstanding program.
Bring it. We just saw that match at the last takeover with the stupid spot on the stairs. So they can go again. So let's do that, and or put Balor up there to get taken out by Karrion Kross, who may or may not be there for the next year because, well, we'll talk about that in a second. The North American Championship, as we were talking about it, was defended and decided in a ladder match. Bronson Reed versus Cameron Grimes versus Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano and Velveteen Dream. We just said Damian Priest won the match if you haven't seen it yet. This was a car crash, as most NXT ladder matches go. Extremely dangerous spots. Who knows what was supposed to... obviously it was a pre-cut ladder that they were supposed to crash through with Gargano and Grimes, but that was brutal. That sunset flip off the side into a powerbomb. If he would have come over the top, Frank and I were talking about it live when we were watching it. If he would come over the top, it would have been fine, but he went from the side, and that's where your danger lied. And then the most cartoon finish for the Velveteen Dream, where he launches himself off the ladder. His foot hits the rope. He literally, you see him
propels himself.
You see him
he went full Nick Jack,
and then he went, "I'm gonna fly!" Wow! And he just flew in the air, and he shot as far as he possibly could. I likened it to if you took one of your Hasbros when you were little. So if I take Razor here,
head on,
and I have the ring that has the white, yellow, the blue, white, and red elastic ropes, and you pull back as far as you can, and then let go, and they go flying. That's what he did with his own foot on the rope. It was the most cartoonish thing I've ever seen. No reason for it. There was no reason for that to happen, but he did it anyway, and it was chaos, and you couldn't see what happened. He legit disappeared into the ether. No one had any idea what happened, but I would say this was a 4.25 star ladder match. I liked it a lot. I thought it was better than the first match. You couldn't take your eyes away because of the car crash, and this was great. And Nate's thrown out the whole Fire Velveteen Dream thing. Yes, Velveteen Dream came back, and I'm not sure why, especially when they said they did their own investigation, but they never talked to the person that actually accused Velveteen Dream of ill will. But yeah, it was funny to see those signs popping up during the Thunderdome presentation on SummerSlam.
Frank, how great is Bronson Reed? I feel like you'd be all about this guy. I've been talking him up big time on Living the Gimmick.
Bam Bigelow gear.
I just thought he was outstanding in this match.
This match was really cool for me. That's an original with the red hair, Doug. I love that.
Yes, sir. You know how I do.
This match was really cool to me because I got to see a couple of guys that I've seen very little, and you had a wide variety of types of wrestlers in this match. And I thought it was a really good mix of guys. On one end of the spectrum, you have Johnny Gargano, who has main evented many takeovers. You have Dream, who's obviously very established. And you have a guy like Cameron Grimes, who's doing very well.
I love Cameron Grimes so much.
Yeah, who's doing very well, but he hasn't really been featured in a big way on any one of these cards yet. So this was a good mix, not only of veterans and somewhat rookies, but also of different styles. The splash with Bronson and Candice was awesome. Some of the different spots they did was amazing. I think this was a car crash is the best way to put it, but so many times when we say that about these types of matches, it's literally just a stunt show and there's not much psychology and pace to it.
Right.
And this had all of that. Like, I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, AEW does ladder matches really well where they tell great stories in them. And I thought they did here too. I still think the best NXT ladder match was the one Takeover New Orleans.
Yeah.
All said and done.
Yeah.
But they told a great story here. And every
Which
single
one was that?
That was the one with Cole winning the North American Championship.
See, I enjoyed that, but I also thought it was overrated that it shouldn't have gotten the Meltzer 5 stars. That was
I loved that.
I thought that was one of the best ladder matches I've ever seen.
I love
Yeah,
it.
see, I thought it was a little.
Yeah. But this one was a great ladder match too, and as you said, just some bad shit, crazy stuff in this match that I hope everyone is safe and healthy after this when all's said and done. The Johnny Gargano spot where he got splashed with Candice on Bronson's back.
Yeah.
Whew. But Damian Priest is the right guy to have this title right now. His stuff with the hot tub afterwards. The lovers in the hot tub, Doug.
The lovers in the hot tub.
They
David. David.
Give me that rotisserie chicken, please.
David, you should eat the pork tenderloin out of your lover's beard. David. David.
What is this?
Will Ferrell and Rachel Dratch.
The lovers in the hot tub.
The hot tub. But yes, Damian Priest is super great in the ring, and I really want to see he and Bronson Reed have like 7 more matches together.
Yeah. I love the thick boy. I love me some Bronson Reed. I love the fact that he was wearing Bam Bam Bigelow style trunks. He's literally the love child of Bam Bam and Jeff Cobb. So I'm all about this guy. I'm 100% in on Bronson Reed. All right, the next match was one that it was my favorite match of the night. It should not have been this good, but holy hell, what a debut for Pat McAfee. What the hell?
So
Adam Cole and Pat McAfee put on a 3.5-star match here.
Yeah,
I love this match.
Frank,
this entertained me the most.
Was this the greatest pro wrestling debut of all time?
Wow. It's one of. I mean, it's absolutely one of. I'd have to give it a deeper thought. He was great.
Like, his performance was stunning.
We knew that he could get it done outside the ring because he's just got an amazing personality. He's just got it. You know what I mean? He's got the arrogance. He's got the gift of gab. I mean, he's just, even when he was an NFL player, he just has that larger than life sports entertainment like personality. And it's just some people they don't have to be involved in wrestling to have that. It transcends.
I'm going to leave this comment here and not that one. I'm going to leave this comment up so that I can comment on it in a second.
he got in that ring and just did awesome. I mean, just did awesome. I thought the whole thing was going well when he backflipped off the top rope and landed on his feet and then went back up for a superplex.
With a leap. One leap.
I literally said out loud,
jumped.
Holy shit. I mean, I didn't know that was coming. I didn't know he was capable. This was great. And you know what Wayne says on the screen right now, there's work to be done. There's no question, but
it's his first match.
It was fantastic. I mean, and to be in there with Adam Cole, who's just, come on, we just know how great Adam Cole is, how great Adam Cole has been for NXT in so many takeover matches and events. This literally could not have gone any better for what they set out to do last night. And look at the weekend that we had between the show tonight and last night. We had two people have their first matches. And I said before you came on, John, that Dominic versus Rollins was my favorite match of SummerSlam.
Dominic and Pat McAfee made a lot of people look real bad.
They sure did.
That is
people that have been in like freaking Aaliyah. Go get on. Go ahead. Go leave.
It's just so. I wish they had
been there for 7 years.
Because here's the reality: Pat McAfee, he's been training for like 2 years.
2 years
with Rip Rogers, and so this was not like 2 weeks ago. They were like, get ready to go in there. Now, he had a tremendous dancing partner in Adam Cole, no doubt about it. Adam Cole helped him every bit of the way. But he was trained. I had wished they would have delved a little more into that in the story of Pat McAfee. Could have just been like, listen, I'm ready for this. Like I've been getting ready for this. I've always wanted to do this, and I've been getting ready for this. I wish they would have gone a little more in that direction. But he's great, man. And I'm not a huge Pat McAfee fan in general, but
why not, bro?
But impossible to deny how much charisma he has. His promo in the greatest
dude
leg in the history of humans and in the history of legs.
Dude. His promo Wednesday night, because we haven't talked about that yet. That's going to be on this week's show. His promo Wednesday night was incredible. And then the promo that he cut sitting on the box before the match was also incredible.
Greatest leg.
This guy, and here's where I'll say what I want to say, Wayne. Did the fluidity of Dominic look more trained and solid in the ring tonight? Yes. But does Dominic need more work in every single thing else than Pat McAfee does? Yes. There is a reason why Pat McAfee was better in terms of what he did this weekend. And it comes to charisma, poise, presence, and the it factor that Dominic only knew how to do with the wrestling moves that Lance Storm taught him. That's it.
Ray was not going to let Dominic have a bad match.
No. Hail to the nah.
The reality.
Hail to the nah.
Hey, real quick, I just want to say this. Look, we're having a great time here doing this. For those of you who are not members of the Living the Gimmick Patreon, patreon.com/Living the Gimmick. Doug and I do this like all the time, and it's super fun. It's uncensored. And hopefully, I would love to get Frank and JT and all them on there more often. I know Frank's just slammed with a baby.
And so is JT.
Well, I got some good news. So my company has gone nationally from 8:30 to 6 every day to 9 to 5 now. So
time. Okay.
Yeah, so I got a little more time, but the baby takes up time, of course, and all the other craziness we have here in New York.
All our Patreon members that we have in here can attest. We have a blast, or as Doug would say, a blasty blast.
Blasty blast.
Fun. Let's keep rolling here.
Yeah, so the next match, I'm not going to lie, I only saw the last 5 minutes of this match because I had pulled up the main event of AEW on my phone, and I was watching that segment instead of this match. Io Shirai and Dakota Kai, they just didn't grab me at the beginning, other than Dakota Kai is always, she looks hot as a heel. Other than that, I looked at my phone and saw that Cody was getting obliterated by Brody Lee and was like, I'm more into this right now. So I watched the AEW segment. I did not watch this match. I saw the end of it.
My turn.
Y'all talk about it.
Oh, no. This is going to be good. Same excuse. By the way, I love these two girls, and I do want to go back and watch this. I just did not have time.
So neither one of us watched it.
Hang on. But I was watching the Batman panel on DC Fandom
Yes.
with the new teaser trailer.
It was
And
awesome.
Matt Reeves on there talking about that movie. And let me just say, woo! I was so happy. I'm a diehard Batman fan my whole life. And I was watching the match as I'm watching the phone with the Batman stuff. And I caught most of the women's match. I thought it was really good. The two of them are excellent. I fully expected Shirai to retain. She did. She's great. I mean, she's one of my favorite workers in NXT all around. Has been for a while now. I want to go back and watch the whole thing. But most people I heard from thought this match was really good. In fact, I saw a few people say that they actually thought it stole the show last night. So I definitely want to go back and watch it.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but this match was actually happening while I was doing my pre-tapes at work, but I had it on my phone in the middle of while we were doing it. For what it was, in that you knew Io Shirai was going to win. Dakota Kai, they had a believable match that Dakota Kai could win, and that was good, and I liked that. And I think more people, truthfully, were talking about the stuff afterwards with Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez, who used to be tag team partners on the NXT Indie circuit that they did. So they've got a lot of chemistry together. I think they could go out there and have a good match. I'm a little disappointed, though. I wanted to see more from Rhea and Martinez, and that's just not happening. So,
yeah, obviously they're going a different route, which is really weird because they obviously had her come in and attack Rhea for that purpose. And
I have so much trouble understanding what WWE is trying to accomplish or wanted to accomplish.
They blew it.
With Rhea Ripley? Yeah, they shot themselves in the dick. They have no idea with a shotgun.
They straight up blew it.
Girl, since WrestleMania, when we came in here and castrated her losing like that.
They blew it.
And we all pretty much knew it was going to be the downfall. And I don't even see the slightest bit of effort for recovery after that moment. Like, I don't understand how you take a star who you literally had your Royal Rumble winner challenge for her title. It was going to be a huge moment at WrestleMania. Still somewhat was for the pandemic show that we got.
Yep.
This girl had more up-and-coming fan following it factor than almost anybody going on any of the brands. And for some reason, you decided to completely sabotage that.
I mean, we know what the reason was.
So confused. Like, I need to hear the business strategy on that one. Okay?
The business strategy was, we will make Charlotte champion so that she is on NXT, so that we will get viewership on NXT, and she never moved a damn needle once.
And then Triple H said, "Oh well, it's a long story that we're talking." I mean,
and then nothing came of it.
Does anybody remember when we used to make more than one goddamn star on a show? I mean, I don't understand. Like, you could
we're not in that era.
You didn't even make that horrible move at Mania that they did. Like,
Roman Reigns is back, baby. 1 star on SmackDown.
The one thing that I do want to say that I think is pretty cool about the NXT Women's Division is that if you really think about it and kind of trace it back, most of everything you see in the women's division was set up in that War Games match back in November. And I do think that's pretty cool how everything's kind of been interwoven up until this point. But yeah, Nate says the worst was it wasn't even Charlotte challenging her. Rhea challenged. Rhea called out Charlotte, then tapped. Yeah, that is what happened.
Yep. All right. So main event for TakeOver. Again, we talked about it earlier. Keith Lee faced Karrion Kross, and he lost the NXT Championship in a 3 1/4 star match. I thought this was a good match. Didn't
blow you
excel the way I thought it would.
Yeah,
but it was still really good. And the finish is exactly what we thought. Karrion Kross wins the title, but the issue was about 14 minutes into the match, Karrion Kross couldn't move his arm anymore. And they had to do the last 5-minute segment, the finish and everything, with him not using that arm. I
believe he did an avalanche suplex with
one arm on Keith Lee. Keith Lee's 330, bro.
This guy's a beast.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I thought it was a good match, but I wasn't blown away by it. And It is what it is. I mean, I hope Cross is okay, but again,
we're waiting on that MRI.
This could be a Finn Balor Universal title situation.
Absolutely, yes.
He tried to make the guy, and he just went out with an injury right in that match. You know what I mean?
There's a big problem for me with what they did with Keith Lee here. And Sean Ross Sapp and I were talking about it just before, too. So you have Keith Lee in his first major match defending this title, lose the title, right? He vacated the North American title.
Because he was an idiot, yes.
So wouldn't it have made sense from a story perspective if Keith Lee had been in a grueling ladder match for that North American title that he still had and had to go through hell and got beat up a bunch, lost in a ladder match, and then had to turn around and defend the NXT Championship, beat up.
Yes.
Karrion Kross still gets his win. It's an understandable loss for Keith Lee because he just went through hell. I just feel like...
But John, you spent more than 5 seconds planning that out.
But it also just...
But the WWE answer to that is going to be, but that doesn't make Kross look strong enough because he's beating a weak Keith Lee.
He still could have destroyed him.
Well, but they didn't think about that.
But, I mean,
they didn't think about it at all.
It reveals more and more that the unification stuff was
it was a hot shot counter-programming angle.
It was counter-programming.
Well, listen, everybody who's ever won the main belt with the mid-card title drops the mid-card title. I mean, it happens every single time. This goes back to Warrior at Mania 6. You know what I mean? So you knew...
Just because you've done it in a shit manner for 30 years doesn't mean you continue to do that. Well, you can figure out how to do it with tell a better story.
Hold on. In every other situation, you drop that mid-card title to go on a lengthy, positive run with the main title. You know what I mean? And then at that point, nobody gives a shit that you dropped the mid-card belt because now you're the main champ and you're running with it, and now you're launched to a new level.
Right, but here's the thing.
Lost the title at the next takeover. I mean, he's literally just done.
They've been talking about bringing up Keith Lee and Io Shirai for months. Keith Lee coming up is not new information.
Oh, hell no. No way.
So they knew when he won those titles that he was going to drop it to Karrion Kross and then come up, which to me is just lazy booking.
Listen, but that's okay. But you took it off him in a way where he just kind of got beat.
Lazy.
And that was
the lazy chump to say he didn't want to defend this other title. And it was a lazy move to just have him get beat his first thing without any kind of, his arm didn't get hurt. You know what I mean? He's on Raw tomorrow night. So hopefully he's not ricocheted and put in the United States Championship and then stuck there for a while until he starts.
I have no optimism for what they do with him tomorrow night. I'm just telling you right now.
Tomorrow night, I don't know, but I think Keith Lee has a much higher ceiling than Matt Riddle does, which is crazy because Matt Riddle is just so unbelievably talented. But listen, they showed us Keith Lee's potential in that Survivor Series match.
Yes,
he eliminated Seth Rollins,
and he had a great spot with Lesnar in the Rumble. Yeah,
he had a great spot. Vince McMahon sees it in Keith Lee. I feel pretty good about that.
But Vince McMahon has also built other people up and then sabotaged them.
No doubt.
Without a doubt. This is the first time in a while that we've gotten a video package announcing someone coming to the show, because most of the time it's, the surprise the night after. You know what I mean? Like most of the time it's like, oh, it's a surprise, blah, blah, blah. This was in the middle of SummerSlam. Hey, guess what? We're bringing up this NXT person tomorrow night, so make sure you watch Raw. Makes sense. I mean, promote it. Get people to try to watch and figure out when Keith Lee's going to be on Raw.
Matt Riddle had that, but then
he did.
He hasn't.
But that worked out real well for Matt Riddle. Thanks for joining us tonight, friends. We've been almost going for 2 hours. Obviously, the pay-per-view was short. We are not. You add another hour to this, and we would be here for the entire length of the pay-per-view.
That's what she said.
This week, you should join up for the Patreon if you're not already a patron. Patreon.com/Living the Gimmick. $5 a month. We have a prediction show for Payback. We'll also have a reaction show for Payback. The same time, same bat channel, same bat time next week, but only for patrons. Everybody else won't be able to see this like everybody is seeing it right now.
We got a watch along.
We have a watch along coming this week that is available for everyone. It's SummerSlam 1998, Highway to Hell. in Madison Square Garden.
We have our Living the Gimmick dropping on Tuesday.
Yeah, our normal show drops on Tuesday. Then guess what? The whole next week we have to do the whole thing again because AEW has All Out on September 5th, which I will not even be able to watch All Out until Monday morning. So I don't know when we'll be able to do our prediction show. Our recap show will have to be probably that next Monday at noon. We have no idea when we're going to do that.
I'm a little concerned about All Out being on Labor Day weekend because already, John, I don't know what you're about to say, but Doug can't watch it live. I have a party to go to, and I can't watch it live. And that just tells me that people are going to be busy doing stuff for that weekend, and I just don't know if that's a great thing for them.
Wasn't it Labor Day weekend last year?
It was Labor Day last year, yeah. And the year before when it was all in. It was all.
Listen, I'm just bringing it up that it could, it could be fine. It could go bad for them. I don't know. I hope they do.
It's their that is their thing. They make it.
It's the first pay-per-view of theirs that I'm going to miss.
We had all of our March and April weddings put to September, so I have a wedding Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. The next week I have one Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So,
yeah. Well, listen,
crazy schedule, but
as your boy says, Frank, content is king. And we got that hashtag content.
We got plenty of content, so sign up. $5. Also, if you have a PlayStation, we play Uno and stuff. We watch Monday Night Raw together.
We gotta get Frank on Quiplash.
We play Quiplash. We play Uno. We play Fall Guys. Anything we can get our hands on that's fun.
What's that?
You know what Quiplash is?
I do not.
It's like Mad Libs meets Cards Against Humanity. And you
gotta be fun.
You would be perfect for it.
I've played Cards Against Humanity. Yeah,
sign up if you have the PlayStation Network. If you have PS Plus, and you want to come on the PlayStation Network and play with us, I'll whip that ass. That's totally fine. Come on.
Listen, I will tell the fans out here this: if you're not already subscribed to the Patreon, I would go ahead and do that. I can tell you from being in the chat with these guys every day how hard they work on all of this for you. And I don't think there's a lot of things out there worth the content price that people charge online these days because it's just way too much and way too many people trying to do mediocre products out there. This is worth it. This is a hard-working group of guys that know wrestling, and I fully endorse what they do, and I think you should join if you haven't. Check it out. At least give it a month.
And hey, if not, we got the free show that drops every Tuesday. We'd love you to subscribe to
exactly
on whatever you listen. So we really appreciate that, Frank. And we're glad that you got to be out here and talk wrestling.
Listen, this was, I really wanted to start doing at least a monthly show, or even when AEW has pay-per-views to get out there and at least cover big things from the month and cover the pay-per-view and do everything. I got to say, though, we did WrestleMania. We had a blast with that. Pandemic, wrestling, WWE in particular, has just really been crappy. And it's tough to get excited to come and do this, especially with the schedule that I have and everything going on. And frankly, I've been in New York for the pandemic, which has been a whole other nightmare. It's just nuts. So everybody's fine. Thank God we're good. Anybody who wants to chat and say hi on Twitter or Facebook, you guys know where I am. And I'd love to do more. We will do more in the future. I am excited for when things get back to whatever the hell the word normal is going to mean after all of this. And AEW has been doing some great work. Some weeks I don't agree that they're as great as some other people make them out to be. Some weeks I am flying high on their product and think it is amazing. So, I hope that we get some good wrestling going forward and we can keep doing this. And, I can get my passion back to do it on more of a regular level, because lately, I got to tell you, it is a lot of background TV for me in the band. They just, they don't grab you. But tonight was a very entertaining show, and I thought NXT Takeover last night was a good show. Also, I was actually more into tonight, and I thought overall there are some things to go back and watch at the SummerSlam. And the Thunderdome, for its problems that it does have, is infinitely better for a presentation for WWE than the PC. So thank God they made that change, and I am happy about that going forward.
Mandy.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I thought this was great. I agree with you about the Thunderdome. I thought the look of it was fantastic. The audio they've got to fix. It's atrocious. It's so loud.
That's my only problem.
The piped in noise is so loud. It'd be fine if it was a low rumble. It'd be totally fine, but it's way too loud. And of course, they're trying to tell you who to cheer and who to boo for by piping in the cheers.
So I was just going to ask. So they're not getting any audio from the live people? Not at all. So they're just
no.
So it's just the look, and then they're doing their audio, whatever they want to do. That's what it is.
Mandy. Yeah, I mean, that's what
We
it is.
need that.
They're just piping it in.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is why during a
process.
match, even when the heels get in the heat, you hear cheering, because during the match they're not clicking on the cheers and the boos as much. But at the beginning of the match and at the end of the match, they're cheering and booing for who you should be cheering and booing for.
Well, today,
just switching everything all around like the main event, because we don't know who the heels and baby faces are.
Well, they tried to tell you about cheers and boos.
Tonight, they had a producer who was controlling the fans and said, when you boo,
yes, do this
and say boo. And when you cheer, say, yeah, that happened tonight. So.
I'm sure it did. Just like any other producer at a TV show, when they tell you, hey, watch the applause sign. If the applause sign goes off, you must applaud.
John, I just flashed to Naked Gun 33 1/3 when the applause sign hits her. and the whole Oscar sits in a standing ovation.
It's the bomb.
It's the bomb. He's drinking the Pepto.
Oh,
the Mylanta. It was Mylanta. He was drinking, man. So it's great. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see some of you later on this week. Bye.
Good night, everyone.